Nonsense, lies. Why does he even post this? No, you cannot. All right, I had to take a break. I was sweating too much. And so in today's video, Jessie James West and LeanbeefPatty are testing the best ways to lose weight.
I've gathered a list of the 50 most popular ways to lose fat. Starting with eat low-calorie whole foods.
Number one, low-calorie whole foods. Certainly, if you eat low-calorie dense foods, foods that don't have a lot of calories, like in my friggin' cookbook, you're most certainly gonna lose weight. They have less calories, you can eat as much as you want, and you're not gonna be over your maintenance calories. If you're below maintenance, you're gonna lose weight, and if you're above, of course, you're gaining weight. And so by picking out foods that are low in calories, whether it's dairy or fruits and vegetables or low-fat meats, you of course are going to be aided in your weight loss journey.
A misconception about seafood. Salmon is extremely high in fat. Yes, it is healthy and has omega-3s, but if you're trying to diet, the plain tilapia and cod is the way to go.
This is a little bit counterintuitive. He's right that having white fish instead of salmon is going to be lower in calories, and so he's saying it's the way to go, but you do need some healthy fats. Omega-3 fatty acids, which are plentiful in salmon, it's kind of the one must that you must have. In particular, if you're natural, you want to have healthy hormones. And so, yes, try to eat less fat, but the fats that you do eat, try to make them healthy. For example, in fatty fish or in nuts. And so don't totally eliminate them and have 0 grams of fat, but do eat them in moderation.
Next up,
high volume foods.
What's your favorite high volume food?
I like iceberg lettuce. There's like 0 nutritional value in there.
Also not true. I remember when I was a school teacher and people are like, why are you eating all that iceberg lettuce? Don't you care about the nutrients? I'm like, there's 2 heads of iceberg lettuce in this bowl. I'm pretty sure that's gonna give me more vitamins, more minerals than you're eating in that poutine.
You like this?
Yes.
Iceberg lettuce.
Are you kidding me?
I will say, if you added like half of this to a meal and like mix it in with like chicken and a bunch of stuff, you will be a lot more full than if you did not have it.
The more vegetables, the better technically, because you're gonna be so much more satiated. And so whatever you're eating right now, if you added more vegetables, you're gonna be more full and less likely to overeat on junk.
Next up, use artificial sweeteners. I used to do Splenda, but then I realized that maybe that's too much chemicals and that's not the best. And then I kind of went bougie on things.
Honestly, with low-calorie sweeteners, low-calorie alternatives, I don't care. Unless you're sensitive to these, there's a few people that can't handle the microbiome. Well, it doesn't really matter. If you're one of those people, well, of course, be careful. But for the rest of you, just have as much low-calorie sweetener as you want. Every day I see a post of somebody saying, oh, if you drink Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, that you're gonna have a problem, it's gonna cause cancer and so on. It's all nonsense, it's bullshit. The amount that you need to consume is perhaps 40 or 50 cans equivalent a day. And so in moderation, it's not a problem. Low-calorie sweeteners for the win.
Next, drink sparkling beverages, AKA what drinks?
Functional beverages.
If I'm hungry and I don't want to have more calories or I'm trying to just hold off to my meal, I go have something that's sparkling and carbonated.
Carbonated beverages, 100% agree. For example, if you drink water versus carbonated water, it's gonna slow down the amount that you feel you need to drink. You're gonna feel more full, there's gas inside, and so it's gonna be that much easier. And so the one thing that you don't wanna do, with no exception, I can't think of an exception, is to consume regular pop. If you're overweight, you're a fat piece of shit, and you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I don't like being called a fat piece of shit, then stop drinking regular pop. If you're a fat piece of shit and you switch over to drinking Diet Pop, you're most likely gonna lose weight, and I'm gonna say, you're just a regular sized piece of shit. You've lost the fat, and now you're just regular old piece of shit.
Use hot sauce or low-calorie sauces over dressings and high-calorie sauces. Let's just do a little comparison. Oof, 160 calories. How many calories you got?
Mine's got 0.
And of course, low-calorie sauces. If you're consuming regular ketchup or salad dressing or barbecue sauce and so on, you have no idea the extra calories you're putting on. I'm always shocked to see how much ketchup I actually use. Like, you'd think one of these is a lot of ketchup. I looked at it, it's 34 mils. I use 3 of these for a meal. So that's 100 mLs. It's like 6+ tablespoons of ketchup. And so if you consume low sugar ketchup instead of the regular, you're saving on a ton of calories. Multiply that by how many meals you're eating in a day. It makes a significant difference.
Here's my caveat with diet food, like diet hack food. It has a ton of chemicals.
Yeah, it hurts your stomach.
And like if you eat this, you're gonna be like over the toilet in pain.
No, you're not. Why do we exaggerate like this? If you eat a pint of Halo Top, you're gonna be in pain hunched over the toilet. No, I'm pretty sure that Halo Top wouldn't have ever had a $1.5 billion evaluation. Now, mind you, it's gone down since then to a great degree. There's several other competitors. I know a lot about the ice cream industry. Don't ask me why. I did a deep dive on it just the other day. But it's not going to cause pain and agony upon consuming it. This is bullshit. Now, maybe there's 1 in 1,000 out there that you can't eat this, or you are somehow hunched over and you're going to the hospital. But if that actually happened, if it was that dangerous, if it was that bad, for example, when you consume testosterone, the hundreds of thousands of people that are buying this product, if it was bad for you, somebody by now would have gone to the hospital and sued me. They would have said, I took Turk and I was in pain, hunched over, and it's bad. Compare it to, for example, Ozempic that later they're going to talk about. Do you know how many people are suing for going blind? For having serious ailments, problems, pain, digestion, bloating, uncomfortable cramps, paralysis, horrible things that have been going on. Anhedonia to add to that list, not feeling normal human emotions. I mean, think of it. You're taking a chemical, a product, a GLP, and it's changing who you are. You don't want to consume any food anymore. You're full all the time. You also don't want to drink. You don't want to smoke. You don't want to have sexy time. You don't want to have friends. But yet you're consuming it. Hundreds of millions of people, not 100,000s like with testosterone, hundreds of millions. You got to be careful. But consuming low-calorie alternatives is not that dangerous. And so I don't think you should eat like Goliath, who's later going to be in this video talking about GLPs and so on. I mean, that guy was literally having chemicals for breakfast, dinner, lunch, snack time. It was crazy. I don't think you should go to that extreme, but if you replace what you're eating right now with something diet, label with some sugar-free this and sugar-free that, it's not that deep. Please consume them. It's not that big of a deal. These guys are smoking vapes, drinking alcohol, which is literally poison. They're doing recreational drugs, not Jessie, but other people, and they're worried about diet sweetener stuff. Come on.
Overall, the diet hacking foods, you gotta be careful with what ones you pick. Some are good and they're fine to have here and there in your diet, but then some other ones will mess you up and you're gonna be curled in a ball on your couch.
I don't know why Jesse's saying this. I don't know what has happened to Jesse in his past. Did he consume too many of these things? He's freaking out. He's like, yo, some are good and some are not. I think he's very selective. Jesse is biased towards what he wants. Jesse's like, oh, I don't think you should have Hershey low-calorie syrup, but you can have the Jell-O. Why is one good and one not good? Everything in moderation, Jesse. Remember those words.
To finish up the food category, let's move on to some diet habits. Starting with
Crash dieting. It's safe to say that we do not recommend that.
And so he doesn't recommend crash dieting. Bravo. I think that everyone in the world knows that this is a moronic thing to do. But then he's approving of intermittent fasting where you say, you can't eat because it's 6 o'clock. Oh my God, I can't eat now. And you got to wait until 2. Up 16 more hours. Why does that make sense? You're only allowed to eat based on what a man-made item or woman-made, whatever you want to call it, that we created. We invented time on a watch and say, between these hours we can't eat and between those hours we can. Make that make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. If you're hungry, eat. That makes the most sense. Our bodies have evolved for perhaps millions of years to be what we are today. And if you're hungry, it's because your ghrelin is up and it's saying you haven't eaten enough. We need some food. And so you have a snack, make it low in calories, eat it. Perhaps it's an apple, eat. If you force yourself to only eat during certain windows, those windows, you're gonna smash them with a chair and there's gonna be a bunch of bugs eating you up like a mosquito. You don't want that. And so don't follow that advice.
There's another way to lose fat that we're also gonna include in this, and that is called caffeine. While you're trying to not break your fast, you can have caffeine to curb your appetite.
And so here's the thing with caffeine. At first it works. I'm on a caffeine detox, Mepsigram caffeine detox. I haven't had caffeine in a week. And so if we consume caffeine right now because we haven't had it in a week, we're gonna have decreased appetites. But once you get used to that, the effects, they wear off. If you always are drinking caffeine, you're drinking 5-6 cups of coffee every single day, it kind of blunts its effects. And so it isn't the best method. And so I would recommend to save the caffeine and the coffee for when you actually need it. If you wake up in the morning and you have coffee to skip breakfast, to me, that makes no sense. You should be breaking your fast at breakfast. Did you know that? Breakfast is named because you eat to break the fast, which just occurred overnight.
the food category was complete, which means it's now time to see where me and Patty rank its importance among the other 4.
1.
Yes.
Same page. Same page.
Food most certainly is not the number one thing you can do for your health or for your diet. Generally speaking, if you could do cardio and eat shitty food, or do no cardio and eat perfect food, shit food and cardiovascular athlete is healthier than the person that just eats food and is a lazy piece of shit. Person doing cardio is superior to a healthy person eating. Now, if you can combine them, well, that's amazing. Or you can do like me and combine everything. I eat mostly healthy food, I eat some junk, and I do cardio every day. The thing you can do for the rest of your life and actually have balance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best form of burning fat, at least in my opinion.
Assuming you're not using the handrails, you can burn up to 700 calories per hour on the Stairmaster.
Nonsense, lies, bullshit. Why does he even post this? To put a narrow range like that, for example, I doubt LeanbeefPatty can burn 500 calories an hour in a stepper, but I know Jessie can burn more than that. And so why lie? Like, I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but why would he put 500 to 700? It's more like 200 to 1500, depending on how athletic you are. You don't think that the best athletes in the world can burn double those calories? I'm not talking about guys like Will Tennyson. I'm talking about elite athletes. Marathoners, guys who do Ironmans. Those guys, they're reading books burning 1,000 calories per hour on the stepper.
Elliptical.
We have the stationary bike.
Along with the rowing machine and the skiing machine, which basically means they're all equally efficient methods of burning fat.
Now, I don't have time to go over all of these, but the calories depends on how much physical work that you're doing. It's known as watts. And so in case you're wondering, if you're going at 100 watts, you multiply by 3.6, that's 360 calories per hour. 200 watts, it's 720 calories per hour. Now, there's people, for example, Hayden, he's on my cycling team. He can do over 450 watts for more than 2 hours. It's insane. And so he's burning upwards of 1,500 calories or more per hour. And you wonder why these guys are eating sugar during their workouts. They need to. And so the more fit that you become, the more calories you can burn, and it makes it easier than last time.
However, if running is a bit boring on the treadmill, you can always burn the same amount of calories doing
HIIT cardio.
No, you cannot. HIIT cardio doesn't burn as many calories as doing steady state cardio. Remember when you used to call me Sensei Greg? I explained to you this. HIIT cardio doesn't burn more calories. HIIT cardio is when you go really hard, for example, for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and then you go easy. You go hard, you burn a lot of calories and you go hard, then you go easy to recover your heart rate. Perhaps it's near its maximum, and then you slow down. Fast, slow. That is HIIT cardio. High intensity interval training. Calories is based on how much total work that you're doing. Let's say you're running and doing HIIT cardio. You sprint for 30 seconds for a minute, and then you walk or jog for, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes, and you repeat. If it burnt more calories, that means you do more work. And the way to do the most work possible is to go the furthest distance. And so if you were doing a marathon, would you then sprint for 100 meters and then do a slow jog? Or would you be consistently going at perhaps your anaerobic threshold? And so this is a myth of which by the time I die, I need to dispel. Stop thinking HIIT cardio is better. If you want to burn the most amount of calories, you go steady state at a pace just below your anaerobic threshold so that you can maintain it. Not only that, it also has greater EPOC, post-oxygen exercise consumption. This is the calories you burn following exercise. You know when you're at rest, when you're done. And so if you go for an hour and you go very hard and you burn off 1,000 calories like Coach Greg, and then after you're done, you're relaxing. You're perhaps burning 150 more. If you did HIIT cardio for an hour, you sprint for a bit and you walk, you sprint for a bit, you're not burning the 1,000 calories because you are only going very, very hard at brief portions during that workout. You can't go all out the whole time. If you did, it would be below your anaerobic threshold and be called steady state cardio. Do you get it? 20 minutes later. All right, I had to take a break. I was sweating too much. And so apparently I was burning too many calories. I had to disrobe. And so you could add to the list, record videos.
Next time on Coach Greg.
By default, conclusively, with no ability to argue against this, you cannot convince me that I'm wrong. I've thought about this for perhaps 35 years since I was a teenager, but if you could only choose one,